What you're going to find out this month to start with, it's going to surprise you like so much. And then on another hand, the same thing that you're going to find out, it's also going to be connected to an important truth where your eyes are going to be open. And once your eyes are open, nothing is going to close them ever again. The actual dates, the 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th and the 21st of April 2022 are bringing you one of the biggest truths of your life. It is going to be very strange what you're going to hear. It is going to be very weird what you're going to find out. But in itself, you need to know this, because if you don't find out this specific information, it will be very difficult for you to move on. By the time you get to the 30th of April, my God, there are so many things that are going to come up in form of the actual possibilities, fantastic possibilities, brilliant possibilities, unlimited opportunities. When it comes to the specific part of your life that you thought that it's going to be like this way, that way, and that way, there is no other any way. There was no any way around, or there was no any way for you to progress in particular and specific way. What I'm trying to explain now, that this is going to be brilliant because you have been prepared for this moment for a long time. And I'm going back to the last 46 months in particular. There was so much going on in your life. There was so much happening in your life, and that slowed down your personal progress. So now the month of April is going to change absolutely everything, and this is going to be absolutely brilliant. From the beginning of this month, from the beginning of April, the energy is going to be completely different, and you, my gorgeous Aquarius, are going to be one of the signs who are going to be enjoying this so much, because it's also bringing you an important clarity. The clarity that I'm talking about, it's going to be directly responsible for you making an important choice. The actual choice which is about to change your life. Pay attention to how you're going to feel within the last 7 days this April, because a lot is going to be answered to you in terms of what the next step in your life is going to be, just purely by you paying attention to your feelings, to your emotions, to your inspirations. This is going to be life-changing in many ways. My name is Sasha Bonasin, and I'm a psychic medium, and this is your monthly horoscope tarot card reading, and it's for you, my gorgeous Aquarius, and it's for April 2022. So this monthly horoscope tarot card focus is for you, my gorgeous Aquamarini, and it's for April 2022. This month is going to be a big mama for you, and it's going to be brilliant. From the beginning of this month, you will be able to feel the vibration. You will be able to feel the energy that you haven't felt in an absolute ages. I'm not saying that you were sad, I'm not saying that you were miserable or anything like that, but once you feel this vibration, it is gonna pick you up where you needed to pick up, and once you're picked up, you're just gonna start to flow yet again. This is to do with the blockage in your life that was caused over the last 46 months in particular. So now that blockage is about to be removed. Okay, when it comes to the actual numerology, your number is 1402. Your actual number is 1402. There are two important possibilities gonna come up for you this month, and I need you to pay attention to the 7th of April, 17th of April, and the 27th of April, because these 3 days are going to be completely different with things that are gonna be happening, but it's all gonna be leading towards something very specific, very important. By the time you come to the end of this month, you will become aware of really important possibilities. But these 3 days are gonna be kind of completely different, but you will see that by the end of the day, it's gonna be leading towards the same thing, towards you realizing something about someone as well. Something is not going to be right, something is just gonna be confusing, and it's to do with a certain person in your life as well. And that particular person in your life has been confusing you for a while, And now you're also going to find out why were you so confused. But also, on another hand, certain things are going to be pretty much so confirmed to you. This in itself is also important for you to move on. You need to see things for what they are, which means that somebody was around you, somebody is still around you who is like clouding your own experience, and it's kind of preventing you to move on. They're holding you in a certain bubble, but then again, at the same time, you can feel this consciously and subconsciously. So this is, by the time you kind of like have this highlighted in your life, you are already going to be kind of like not going to be completely surprised about it, but you need to be aware, because at the same time, you're going to find out something really important about yourself. You will see how much you changed, because when it comes to that particular person, they're going to come up with something, and this is just not going to make sense to you whatsoever, what they're going to say, what they're going to talk about. But then at the same time, the mask is going to fall, and once this mask is actually fallen, then this in itself, that moment in time, it's also going to become an important stage of the new beginning for you, because you will realize like almost immediately that it's a lot down to you. But this is not going to bring you stress or anything like that. In fact, it's going to be completely opposite, and this is what this vibration and the actual energy of the month of April is going to do to you. It's brilliant. The more you do things freely, 1402 means in numerology, the more you do things freely throughout this month that makes sense to you, the more you do things freely that makes you feel good, you know, the more you do things freely that make you feel alive, the more you do things freely that, you know, that really enhances your spirit and your soul in so many different ways, you know, just like doing things that you love doing, expressing yourself in the way that you want to express yourself, the more powerful you're going to be, the more things are going to be coming up to you, you know. There are really two important stages that are going to come up when it comes to your personal progress. Wherever you are right now, whatever you're doing, you need to understand that, you know, there is going to be an important promotion of that particular path. Where are you at this moment in time? So this is why also at the same time, when we have the opportunity to kind of promote, to kind of allow our life to go on the next level, you know, normally we also have a challenge, and the challenge that you are going to have, it's pretty much so going to be consisting of you needing to put your foot down, needing to express yourself, and really needing to stay on your path really strictly, because you're working on something so important, working on something so significant. But then there is some other energy, you know, I don't want to be a dark lala or anything like that, but there is a dark energy that is still kind of maybe around you, and it's influencing you in a negative way. This is having a very negative impact on your life, and it's also making you to do silly things, and it's also making you to do things that you wouldn't normally do. You need to see who this is. I do see a bit of a selfishness when it comes to that person, and I see a little bit of a darkness, and I see a little bit of like a consistency when it comes to not being honest. And this has been happening for a long time. There is something specific that you're going to find out about that person also that you're not going to like, as I mentioned before. But then again, at the same time, you need to know this. This is important. On another hand, you know, this is so brilliant this month, because it's not only about the vibration, which is going to pick up, which is going to reflect on your energy, but it's also going to be the moment, you know, that what you're going to become aware of this month by the end of the actual April. It's like the certain opportunity, but this is only you becoming aware of that certain opportunity, and the certain opportunity that you're going to become aware of, it's going to come through someone who is very close to you, who is very important to you, like a great friend or like a family member who you really trust. This is a really good person. This is a really kind of like a quirky person in many different ways. This is a kind of very spiritual person, but it's a rather balanced person in so many kind of ways, not only when it comes to the spirituality, but it's also when it comes to other things that they do, when it comes to the actual success in their life. You really like this person, and that person really likes you, and I really like this. this. I really like this. Like. Yeah, I know. What am I like? Yeah, and again, what am I like? No, this is important, because this is someone who is meant to be in your life, like a really great friend or a really great family member, and that person is gonna really surprise you. There is a surprise from that person, and you're gonna like this. That person is gonna kind of surprise you in a way that will let you know that they maybe want to meet up with you, or it's gonna be very strong and a powerful reconnection, and that in itself, it's gonna be so good for you, because you almost immediately, this is gonna mean to you so much. And also, you know, when the certain people are meant to be in our lives, you know, we pick up from them so much at the time when we need to pick up from them certain things about ourselves and about our lives through their experience within our spiritual journey. They're meant to be here, and we are meant to be in their lives as well. So these are like very sacred people. This is somebody who knows you for a long time, and that person is gonna come forward. And also, you need to pay attention to the actual 11th of April, the 1st of April, 11th of April, and the 21st of April as well. These 3 days are going to be connected to that person. That person is going to come into your mind like a great friend or someone within these 3 days. Something that you will see, it's going to kind of remind you of that person. Something that you're going to come across, it's going to remind you of that person. Maybe you'll be thinking, and that person is going to be on your mind. But this is only going to highlight the importance of that person in your life. Well, that person is actually going to be directly responsible for making you aware of something. They will tell you, when I say making you aware of something, yeah, I know it's not specific. That person is going to make you aware of the actual first of all, they're going to surprise you. They will tell you something is to do with reconnection, but also once that reconnection happens, they are going to tell you something very kind of like important. And what you're going to be told is about this opportunity, where you're going to become aware of this opportunity through that person who means to you so much. So this is why I keep on saying, like, you know, people who are meant to be on our spiritual path, they're meant to be on our spiritual path. If we don't see each other like for 10 years, 20 years, it doesn't matter. You reconnect, you rejoice, and it's exactly the same feeling. It is exactly the same vibration. You always stay the same. You never fall apart. Like, so this is that strong connection that I'm talking about. But they are gonna tell you something, and what they're gonna tell you, it's gonna like open your eyes in a really great way, because it's gonna make you feel good about yourself. They're gonna point certain things about what you know, the way you express yourself and things like that. Something that you love doing, for example, you know. But through them, you're gonna realize by the end of the actual month an important opportunity, and this is brilliant, and it's going to almost immediately become very attractive to you, because it's going to touch your spirit, it is going to touch your soul from a very kind of like a high perspective, because almost immediately you will know that you need to do this. You will know that you need to throw yourself into this, because it's to do with an advancement in your life, but also allowing yourself to kind of be unique, allowing yourself to be quirky, allowing yourself to take your spiritual journey as far as you possibly can. And you can only do this by allowing your spirit to take over, by allowing your spirit to be free. How are you going to allow your spirit to be free? By doing what you want to do, by going through this life in a way you want to go through this life. Instead of like a kind of like a paying attention to the negativity, sadness and darkness, you just really open yourself up, and you need to understand that basically, you know, if you don't take care of yourself, you know, no one else is gonna do it. You know, you're not gonna be able to do what you want to do. You know, I'm not saying no one else is gonna be able to do it, but you know what I mean. You need to put yourself first. This is important for you to remember. But anyway, going back to that important opportunity, it's a pretty much so going to almost immediately make you feel so good. It's going to make you feel so excited. It's going to start to open you up spiritually. And this is a really good sign that where you almost immediately, you will want to kind of like want to do more. You will want to find out more. You're going to like the sound of this, because at the same time, you know, it is going to make you feel like a bit of a challenge. It's going to be connected to the challenging situation, because you're going to be thinking about other things that you're doing and focusing, and lots of other things that are going on. But what you need to remember, my gorgeous Aquamarine, Marini, one step at a time, one step at a time, one step at a time. You need to remember to have patience, you know, because there is a lot going to be going on throughout the month of April. So all you need to remember, one step at a time, you are going to be absolutely fine. Don't waste your time and don't waste your energy with people who don't mean anything to you, but also at the same time, don't waste your time and don't waste your own energy by kind of like being stressed and thinking about so many things like at once, because this is my advice, you know, to you, because on an emotional level, a lot is going to be going on throughout the actual April, but this is all a bit of a test, you know, this is all a bit of a challenge, and you are going to do absolutely great. The bottom line is two things, you know. The bottom line, number one, is that you are going to do great on the path that you are currently on. Just remember this. And the number two is the actual, this is going to be very attractive stage of your life here, because it's going to answer your question when it comes to unhappiness. You will not want to kind of be unhappy again. I'm not saying that you were unhappy, but you will know that this is kind of gonna set you free in many different ways, but it's also going to help you to not to kind of repeat the same mistake, you know. It's like a maybe mistake, or it's like a kind of a lesson that I would rather describe it as a lesson that you have learned over the last 4 to 6 months with something really kind of interesting that was happening in your life. And as I said, this opportunity is going to be brilliant, challenging, and it's going to most certainly going to kind of be the answer of what do you need to do when it comes to like your own unhappiness and things like that, you know. So and this unhappiness also kind of made your future a little bit cloudy. So this is why this is going to be so important. When the future is cloudy, it is very difficult to connect. Even for you, my gorgeous aquamarinis, you're very you're an empath, like so much, but when it's cloud, it's just that much harder to kind of like just go with us by vibration and just move forward with your life, you know, to think freely, you know, without any kind of negativity, allowing any negativity to take over, you know. So this is just so really important. But on another hand, you know, it's just basically an important message. You're also going to have a very important message this month, and this is brilliant. You know what, this message that you are going to have is just basically gonna kind of I'm saying brilliant, but it's gonna be like, when you hear this message, first of all, it's gonna be like, oh God, you know, because you're gonna hear this message, and that message is going to make you realize that certain plans are not gonna like kind of happen, certain plans are not going to manifest. But then it's important to also kind of establish, like, you know, when it comes to the timeline within our lives, so we don't take this karmically to take way too much energy out of our lives. So this is actually really good, and you need to pay attention to this. At around the 21st of April in particular, there is going to be a bit of like a sudden collapse of plans that you are going to have, and that in itself is just going to be quite unexpectedly. But then again, on one hand, you know, you're going to realize, you know what, I just need a bit of a couple of days to chill out, couple of days to relax, and this would be brilliant. It would be good to connect and reconnect with the nature as much as you possibly can, because at this moment in time we get so much out of it, because March and April are big mamas, you know, when it comes to the energy, because everything is changing. We are changing, the nature is changing, the air is changing, everything is changing, and it's brilliant, you see. So that's why you make the most of it in terms of rejuvenation when you go to connect with the nature. So this is something that you're going to find rather beneficial as well. On another hand, you know, the sudden collapse of plans that you are going to have, it's just gonna like, first of all, you would think at this moment in time that would make you feel like really worried and negative, but then you know what, then you're just gonna realize like, what, you know, it's basically like, oh my God, realization. This is why you had a lack of ambition. You will realize that these plans that you were like kind of draining your energy and that they came to an end, it doesn't really matter. You've learned out of what you had, you learned out of it like what you could learn out of it up until this moment in time. So it doesn't really matter. The bottom line is the feeling and vibration that you're going to have after that, because it's all about you realizing, oh my God, this is why I had a lack of ambition, and this you're gonna almost immediately realize, you know, it will be for the better indeed, because that was actually causing lack of ambition. But at the same time, it's almost immediately going to really highlight an important path within the next 3 days after that moment in time. There's going to be an important big mama path that is actually going to be highlighted, where you're going to find yourself on, and you will know, just keep going, keep going, keep going, because that particular path that you are on, that you're working on, you're going to be very successful with, as long as you stay committed to these tasks at hand. This is going to kind of like really increase your own devotion, but also at the same time you will become aware by the end of the month exactly which kind of where do you need to put a bit more energy, where you are right now, what you're working on. It's still something missing, and what is missing, it's going to become aware of it's going to become obvious by the end of the month, because the certain path is going to be highlighted when it comes to your own specific path that you are currently working on. What is the most important to you at the moment? What are you working on? Something really starting to take a certain progress. Some progress took off, and some progress is just going through right now as we speak, and especially from the beginning of this April, this is going to be obvious. So by the time you get to the end of the April, you will know it's something to do with something very specific where you are currently on now. Something is just going to come to you. And when it comes to like offering more kind of like energy and services towards a very specific goal, and this is to do with your own devotion, but it's also to do with the fact that through your own bravery, capacity, you're going to become aware of your own strength. And this is brilliant, because that in itself, it's really going to give you more power to actually step towards the future, because this is going to kind of like be leading towards you making an important decision. Normally you will be like, oh my God, but now this energy, this power, this consistency that I'm talking about, it's actually going to increase your bravery, which is going to highlight your own capacity. And it's going to make you aware how good do you feel when you do this, how exciting do you feel when you do this, how alive you feel, when you do these particular things in your life. So this is why this is so important, my gorgeous aquamarines, because exactly 9 months later, do you see this big mama here? Exactly 9 months later from now, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, January 2023, the beginning of 2023 is going to the beginning of 2023, it's going to explode for you in the best possible way, because what's happening right now, you're also planting an important spiritual seed. You're doing something, you're starting something, you're giving the birth to an important dream of yours without you even realizing this, and it's all going to come out of you at the moment in time when you unlock yourself. When you unlock yourself, you're going to unlock your power, and the way to unlock your power is to do this through your own free spirit. This in itself is going to bring you like a basically success, material attainment. It's going to put your life on a very high level when it comes to advantage, and this in itself is going to bring you victory, but it's also going to reflect on your own healing when it comes to the actual stability and the big wish becoming like a real, big wish, like kind of happening, manifesting here. This is going to be like, oh my God, really important breakthrough time for you, my gorgeous aquamarines, indeed. When it comes to your health and things like that, it's very interesting how signs, like the majority of horoscope signs this month, they have got like a similar thing going on. It is to do with the blockage in your stomach, it is to do with your own digestion, but it's also to do with the fact that you must avoid like a sugar. You must avoid sugar, any sugar. People ask me like, oh, can I have organic sugar? No, baby, no. Every sugar is EU, brown sugar, white sugar, organic sugar, pink sugar, green sugar, blue sugar. No, baby, no. Any sugar, cut it out completely. When I say completely, please do it, because this is what am I saying, because it's a lot going to be caused by like things like this, like a sugar, maybe like a sugary drinks, like a squashes and juices. Try to avoid this like a plague, try to avoid this as much as you can. It's terrible, because it is going to increase this blockage within your digestive system that I'm talking about, and sweets and desserts and things like that. If you want to have it, obviously you have it, but this is just my suggestion. Try to avoid it, and maybe try to stick like a dark chocolate, maybe like a dark chocolate if you feel like, oh, sweets and things like that, throughout this month. Try to do this. My God, you will see that your vibration and energy is going to pick up almost instantly. And health wise, this is something that you need to do, because it's going to reflect on every single aspect of your life, believe me or not. So if you feel like, oh, I need a little bit of sugar and things like that, or I want like a little bit of sweets, I want a little bit of cake, maybe have like a fruit or vegetable or something, or dark chocolate. The higher higher cocoa content is in the actual dark chocolate, the better is for you, because the dark chocolate is actually really good for us. So, and you only need a little bit. I know it's not like a normal chocolate, and things like that, but it's actually like really, really good. Like after a while, you just get used to it. So this is something I would highly recommend you. And also, when it comes to digestion and the blockage, I will also recommend you something like organic dandelion tea. It's like a must, because it's going to help you to flush out the toxins out of the system. And if you do want to kind of have a little if you want to sweet it with something, that organic maple syrup, organic honey with a little bit of unwaxed lemon, it tastes absolutely delicious. And you can also do that with the organic chamomile tea, because this is also something that has got an absolutely mind-blowing and soothing effect on your body. So this is something that I would highly recommend you, and you will see how your vibration and energy, it's almost instantly going to pick up. So now, my gorgeous aquamarinis, I'm going to see what is going to be the first date that is going to be kind of like important here. But before I go there, look at this absolutely beautiful, gorgeous, mind-blowing pendant. It's got faceted pregnant. It's absolutely beautiful. Look how posh this is. Posh because it's faceted, but I really, really like it because it gives this like a kind of mysterious look to it. But when it comes to the vibration and energy, just holding this, my lord, it just opens me up so much. The energy becomes so much lighter, especially if there is a negative and dark energy around us. Sometimes the days are very strange when we go out there, and people are really weird, people are really bizarre, and it's so true. It depends what moon is currently in, because the moon changes each sign every 2.5 days roughly. It's from one sign to another, so it really depends what vibration and energy comes from there. But on another hand, sometimes there is a bit more to it, for example. And my point is that this really beautifully and gently protect your vibration, protect your energy. But then on another hand, it's absolutely brilliant because it opens you up psychically in a very unique and a very kind of unusual way, where you're kind of like become so sharp and psychic when it comes to like kind of being aware of things before they happen. So this is why this is so important. Every single time when you find yourself in an uncertain situation, every single time when you find yourself doing something really important, every single time when you're kind of surrounded by people who are energy drainers, and then it affects our way of thinking, it affects our mind, it affects quite a lot in our lives, and we don't even realize it then and there. Sometimes we only have one opportunity to do something right, but sometimes, we are surrounded by negative people at a really important time of our lives who don't allow us to come out of ourselves without us even realizing this, because their energy is so strong, bloody vampires, their energy is so strong, but at the same time, it's just basically takes so much energy out of us. We don't realize this. We only realize this in a way like, oh, they're intimidating a little bit. But then when it's something important to be discussed, and you're going to have loads of this for April, May and June. Every time when you want to discuss something really important, and it's going to be loads of these things, happening, it's like you don't kind of like come out as 100% as you should. And then when you go back home, you're like, oh, I should have said this, I should have said that. No, baby, no, it's too late. So this is why you need this. This is absolutely brilliant. It kind of like also, it's like enhances precognition and inner knowing, and also it enables you always to be prepared, because it's calming the environment, but also on another hand, kind of it helps you to be drawn towards the right things. It helps you to do the right things. It helps you to flow freely in the world and in the place and in the area when certain people are not kind of who they claim that they are, when certain people are so different to you, and a lot of this is going to be happening. You're going to realize how different people all are, and this is something that kind of is also going to confuse you a little bit. So to bring a nice balance, this is a must. This gorgeous faceted pregnant, it's basically comes with a beautiful sterling silver chain, and the link to buy this is in the description below. By buying things from my channel, you're also supporting my channel as well. I have to say that, so thank you very much, my gorgeous aquamarini. So now, the very first date that I would like to talk to you about is going to be the 5th of April. Now, the 5th of April is just basically, it's not only about the 5th of April, but the 5th of April is going to be quite important, but it's going to start on the 1st of April. Just remember what I said, the energy is going to be really different. And you're also going to hear something at around the 1st of April, at around the 1st and 2nd of April. You're going to hear the certain message. news, and it's nothing to do with your life, but it's to do with certain things on the outside, and that in itself is going to be so good because you're going to hear something very specific, and the specific news, specific thing that you're going to hear for the first time in a long time, you're going to be kind of feeling this very happy vibration and very happy energy, because you will know deep within that the things are changing, things are about to change, and this is something that you have been waiting for. By the time you get to the 5th of April, it's going to be pretty much so you're going to find yourself being very indecisive. I hope you're listening. I was going to play with my little chain that I have. Oh god, but I don't have one now, so anyway. So on the 5th of April, it's basically, so you're going to find yourself being very indecisive. The reason why I said indecisiveness 3 times is because it is also it's not about you feeling indecisive, it's about why are you feeling indecisive. Okay, I hope you're listening, my gorgeous aquamarinis. This is going to be big. So it's not about you feeling indecisive, but the actual reason why are you feeling so indecisive will be very, very interesting, and this in itself is going to make you aware how this month it's already been, my lord, very different. So it's all about you realizing the actual reason why you're feeling indecisive will be very interesting, but also at the same time you will realize how much you actually change. This is what I'm talking about. At the same time you will realize how much you actually change, and that will be speaking to you in itself, because almost immediately you will know exactly what part of your life do you want to abandon. You will have enough, and this is brilliant, because this is when something is going to be triggered within you. Creativity, you will know the answer, big answer to all this is going to come in between the 5th of April and the 16th of April. The answer is creativity. Do things in your own way. Do not ever give your power away to someone else. Do things in your own way. It needs to come from you. Now it's more important than it could possibly be. The second important date, it's going to be on the 17th of April. So now another thing I was going to recommend, it's like, oh my god, these 2 pendants, like I'm crazy about. This is so beautiful. Chrome chalcedony. These are quite difficult to get hold of. Look at it. You can't sadly see, but it's the beautiful, like a light green. I can see like through this light, but sadly you can't, you see. But it's really beautiful when you're holding and looking like this towards the sun. It's absolutely gorgeous, because it's showing its beauty. It's very unique, it's very different, and it's a very powerful crystal, because it gives you the energy that you need, and the energy that you need, it enhances your own personal power, and it also encourages you. It's very positive and constructive it encourages very positive and constructive self-reflection at the time when you need it the most. And on another hand, it increases physical energy, blood and circulation as well. I really like this because it's going to increase your energy towards those things that your energy should be increased towards, in terms of like planning, in terms of knowing what the next thing you should do, in terms of your business, in terms of the finances, in terms of prosperity. On one hand, it protects you gently from the negative people as well, but on another hand, it enhances your power when it comes to making the best possible decision that you're going to get so much out of later on. It enhances your power of planning, but at the same time it attracts prosperity and success into your life. But on another hand, it's just keep on encouraging you and encouraging you and encouraging you, and that it brings you balance, very important sacred balance in itself. This gorgeous chrome chalcedony is like something that I would wear throughout April, May and June in particular, when it comes to like really kind of thinking about the next step, planning for the long term, working on your life, kind of like working when you're thinking about the future, planning and things like that. This is something that opens you up so beautifully. It comes with a sterling silver chain. And the link to buy this is in the description below, this video. And by buying things from my channel, you're also supporting my channel, my gorgeous aquamarinis. So thank you very much for that. So now the second important date Oh gosh, sorry, my darling. Now, a second important date is going to be on the 17th of April. Now, the 17th of April, it's like so good. It's to do like beforehand, like almost like with something really devilish. Not now, but beforehand. Something devilish happened, something that made you feel like, oh God, like you can't move on. Something that made you feel like you're really, really stuck. And something that made you feel like, that you can't really feel yourself on the level that you used to feel yourself, and you on the level that you used to felt your life. So this is what it happens when something takes place in our life, and then it affects our way of planning, and then it affects our way of thinking without us even realizing, let alone anything else. So it's all about the beginning. The bottom line is, on the 17th of April there is a huge moment that you will have, and it's the first time in a long time that you will have the beginning of understanding of a very specific aspect of your life, which is at the same time going to start the process for you reaching towards enlightenment. In fact, in between the 17th of April and the end of that month, at the same time, there is a very specific sign that you are going to have from the spirit. And what this sign from the spirit is going to tell you, it's going to happen in the middle of the night when you least expect it. In between the 17th of April and the end of April, there is going to be the spirit that is going to come through, the spirit that is going to come forward, and you will know almost immediately, for some reason, who this is. You will almost immediately you're going to feel a very, very strong connection, and that spirit is going to kind of like maybe scare you, just to scare you a little bit, because it's going to happen at the time when you least expect it, somewhere in the dark, in the dark evening, dark night. I can really feel the energy and vibration of the actual evening, and that spirit, you see, it's going to pretty much going to happen at around the time when you that you are worrying about something that you shouldn't be worrying about. This is so important, my God, yeah. So you just need to connect and reconnect. When you see that spirit, you will be worrying about something so much. I'm telling you, it's going to happen at the time when you least expect it. So that spirit is just going to really gently remind you, don't worry about things that you can't do anything about right now. One step at a time. So this spirit is having a very, very important message for you, my gorgeous Aquamarini. On another hand, going back on the 17th of April, it's just like, this basically caused so much emotional and confusion by in your life, over the last 5 months, quite a lot. And that in itself, when big things happen like this, when we have a really big step and a big progress, suddenly you're going to feel very angry about someone from your past, and you should really release this and let them go. Let this resentment or sadness, it sounds horrible, resentment, maybe I shouldn't use word resentment, but it looked like you kind of fallen out with someone quite a while back, and you feel very strong feeling about them, but you shouldn't, because this person means to you a lot, and you mean to them as well. It's maybe like a family member, someone very close to you. Just try to kind of be very approachable when it comes to that person. Try to reconnect as much as you can. It looks like that person is going through something very difficult, and maybe they haven't been, when you had a little fallout thing, maybe it wasn't nothing personal, but I think that person is actually worried about you, about something that you feel very defensive about. So this is why, all this happens. So it's important to really kind of try to realize who this is. It's maybe like a family member, close family member, mother, father, sister, brother, or somebody very close to you. But this is important for you, because karmically you need to get this right in such a way where if you kind of carry on, maybe not resolving the problem or negativity, then this is going to kind of really keep on coming back until you resolve the issue, because it's karmically connected to you and to your own development. Almost immediately you are going to feel the improvement in your life when it comes to the personal development. This is to do with you going on the next step, next stage out of that moment, after that moment in time, because it's pretty much so going to be connected to the actual news that you are going to have, and it's going to be really all about outcome of the past effort, which is almost immediately going to lead towards your personal rebirth. So you see how interesting things are actually going to unfold for you here. And also, through that person that I'm talking about, there is a very important that person that you've fallen out with. I'm not saying that you didn't talk necessarily, but there was something left in the air in between you two. So it's like a pretty much so kind of bitter experience every time when you come across that person, because something is still unresolved. And even more so, that specific person, that family member that I'm talking talking about someone very close to you, it's going to be very honest, and it's going to be very friendly, and you're going to realize their own devotion. Through you realizing their own devotion, this is going to make you feel very active, and this is going to make you feel very determined towards the certain idea. You see how interesting things are going to happen. So through that person, you're actually going to have cherry on top, when it comes to the certain idea. And that particular person is very unique and very wonderful and very, very vibrant in so many different ways. So you will see exactly what I mean. The last date, my gorgeous Aquamarini, it's going to be on the 30th of April. Now, this is absolutely brilliant because your own gift, your own spiritual gift, your own sacred gift, it's going to be highlighted. You really need to pay attention to the very first thing in the morning. 29th of April and the 30th of April. In fact, both of these days are going to be very strongly connected when it comes to you having something very unusual on your mind in the morning. This is going to give you an answer, and big answer, huge answer on what to do next, and it's going to clear a lot of confusion. But it's also to do with a sacred gift, something that is very special to you, something that is very important to you. And also on another hand, it is just going to not that long after that moment in time, you're going to become aware of this very kind of a very strange person in your life. And this is the one that I was talking about before. This is the one, I know maybe it all sounds really confusing, but it's another person, the person that I've mentioned at the beginning, somebody who's quite a lot around you, somebody who is quite persistently around you. It's clouding your air, it's clouding your energy, and it's affecting your vibration. And I don't like this because it has been a while now. You kind of know this, but you don't. You know, but you don't. But you don't want to be honest with yourself, but you must. You need to, because on the 30th of April, something is going to be answered to you through the actions of that particular person. I don't like this person because it's somebody who's very kind of focused on materialistic life over feelings and emotions, and I don't like this whatsoever. So you just need to kind of be a little bit careful. On another hand, the 30th of April, Dark Lala has to come out. You know what a Dark Lala is like? She's always hiding somewhere. Hello, do you know what I mean? So now basically it's the 30th of April. It's also, this is to do with your destiny quite a lot. It's to do with your fortune, and it's to do with an important outcome that you are going to have here, because you are going to have a very kind of unexpected situation which is going to take place. And the unexpected situation is going to take place in a really good way, where you're going to have a conclusion, and you will realize that you are approaching the end of an annoying and a very long problem that was affecting your own happiness. And also at that moment in time, you're also going to have a really kind of important beginning here. You're going to see something almost immediately, what's behind the corner, that you weren't aware of before. You're going to oh my God, yeah, I knew it. So it's going to be one thing after another. So this is why this is so important. And it's going to motivate you. It's going to kind of bring you really good. And it's almost kind of going to make you aware of the progress that you're going to have. You will be able to connect to immediate future. You will not be able to kind of pinpoint exact what is going to happen, but this feeling and vibration is going to be undeniable. And this in itself, it's important to you because it is going to put your life on an advanced stage where it should be. And there is another thing I was going to say. It's a very good news. You see, it's not all bad, you see. So it's not only the 30th of April, but the last week of April, now going to the last week of April again. So it's to do with an important news, something that was worrying you over the last 6 months, and something that you were kind of waiting for over the last 6 months to happen. And this is going to be oh my God, so important because of two things. You're going to realize the certain desires through this that you didn't kind of realize before, but you're also going to realize certain ideas, recognition of abilities, which is going to lead towards important ideas. And that in itself is going to lead towards a resolution of a problem, conclusion, which is bringing a wonderful healing into your life. And you need this at this moment in time. But also, don't forget, it's connected to an important compromise, because if this is not connected to an important compromise, then it's just going to take another while until you kind of like a karmically work through this spiritual knot. Okay, so now my gorgeous aquamarini, I'm just going to see what is going to happen briefly at the beginning of April, mid-April, and the last part of April. So the beginning of April, you are within the first 7 days, you're going to make an important choice, and this is absolutely brilliant. And you need to understand to kind of know, stop over analyzing. This is important, because when we over analyze it kind of like it messes up with our own vibration. We become really deep, and then we just kind of can't find the way out in our own deepness. So that's why within the first 7 days you need to make a choice and not analyze, if you possibly over analyze. This is important. Mid-April, and also in the first part of April, you need to kind of work on a certain addictions as well. The mid-April, you know, it's going to be kind of like you're going to become aware of a like kind of sudden and unexpected change. You're going to be absolutely fine. All you need to remember is to review your options very carefully. The last part of April, you know, I really like this, because you're going to learn something so big. You're going to learn something so good. You're going to see something, and this what you're going to see, it's going to start the learning process in itself, because you will want to learn more, you will want to do more, you will want to try yourself as much as you possibly can. This is important, you know, because also at the same time this is going to require from you to kind of, this is going to show you exactly which element of your life do you need to learn more about, do you need to read more about, do you need to become aware of as much as you can, because it's going to bring you to one of the greatest successes ever. Okay, and also what you need to remember when it comes to the last part of the actual April, pay attention to details, because a lot is going to be revealed to you through the actual details. Okay, don't forget this. So now my gorgeous aquamarinis, I'm just going to see what is going to happen to those of you in relationship. Now when it comes to those of you in relationship, it's all about a change. You know, suddenly you're both going to feel like you want to make a change, and this change is going to be undeniable, and this change is going to require from both of you to make an important adjustment. This important adjustment is going to be connected to the actual sacrifice. This sacrifice is so important for both of you to understand what exactly is, because it's to do with the part of your life that no longer serves you anymore, and now it's affecting both of you. It's affecting your way of thinking, it's affecting your way of planning, and it's affecting your personal spiritual freedom. Okay, when it comes to those of you that are in relationship, like how interesting this is, when it comes to those of you who are single and ready to mingy, my gorgeous aquamarine, when it comes to those of you that are single, you are actually going to have a very interesting advice. Believe me or not, this is the first time when you're really becoming kind of ready to let someone into your life, whether you understand this or not, and suddenly you're going to feel like your heart is fluttering, you know, and someone is going to make your heart flutter, and that in itself is going to remind you of feelings and emotions and love that you want to be part of and showered with. And this in itself is going to be followed by you talking to someone very interesting who is going to give you very kind of like a very unusual advice, and this advice is going to surprise you, because it's kind of like going to tell you to go somewhere or do something, or visit a certain place, or maybe visit a certain place on a daily basis, weekly basis, you know, fortnightly. It's just to do with you kind of getting a certain advice, which is going to open your eyes towards the specific situation in your life where you're going to be visiting certain place or certain area that you haven't been visited before, or that you haven't been visiting before. So it's just all about this very interesting person who is going to give you very kind of unusual advice. And I say unusual because you're going to feel very strong connection to go to see that place or to go somewhere, and this is going to surprise you. Oh, I can't believe I feel like I want to go there, you know. So this is where things are going to become really interesting. It's not about someone walking into your life in April, but it's about you finding your yourself on the path where you most certainly know is to do with the new energy, new dimension, and that in itself, it's your sign that very, very soon someone very powerful is about to enter your life. Someone very powerful in so many different ways when it comes to their energy, but also when it comes to their intelligence, when it comes to their success, and when it comes to so much that you're going to feel in inspired by this person, and that person is going to feel inspired by you. And then, my gorgeous Aquamarini, you will know that that person is very, very special. Okay, my gorgeous Aquamarinis, thank you ever so much for watching my videos. I'm sending you brightest blessings, lots of love, healing, peace and light. So I'm sending you brightest blessings, lots of love, healing, peace and light to every single one of you. Thank you ever so much for watching my videos. Sasha Bonasin, Psychic Medium. Love you. Bye.